All right, the time is now 6:33. We are in session. Notice is hereby given that a regular meeting of the City Council of the City of Sandy Oaks, Texas will be held on Thursday, December 11, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. at City Hall, 22870 Priest Road, Sandy Oaks, Texas, where a quorum of the City Council will be present. All agenda items are subject to action. You can join the meeting at the Zoom link provided in the agenda. The public will be permitted to offer public comments in person, telephonically, or by audio as provided by the agenda, as permitted by the presiding officer during the meeting by signing up with the city secretary at least 15 minutes in advance of the meeting if providing comments in person, and at least 2 hours in advance of the meeting by emailing the city secretary or by calling 210-607-0834 if speaking telephonically or by audio. An audio recording of this meeting will be made and will be available to the public in accordance with the Texas Public Information Act upon written request. Madam Secretary, may I have a quorum call, please?
Alderman Krittner,
Here.
Alderman Trembling,
Here.
Alderman Rapino,
Not here.
Alderwoman Walker,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Madero,
Here. Virtually.
City Attorney is running late and we have a quorum.
All right, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Okay, moving right along, citizens to be heard. People wishing to speak may sign up with the city secretary in the time and manner as indicated above. At this time, we have two people signed up to speak. We do have Mr. Fred Rojas. Sir, you do have the floor if you need to speak.
Should have been actually AJ.
Okay.
Put our name down.
Apologize. I'm AJ with K321, President Director. I help them with an assistant. Just want to check on the status hearing for the record yard
Okay,
and the bid.
okay. Yeah, it's in the agenda, so we'll address it. Thank you, sir. All right, and next we have Ms. Bauta. You do have 3 minutes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
My name is Barbara Yolo. I live on 23027 Copper Canyon Drive. I've been a citizen since 2017, September 2017. And since then, I have had many concerns. I know I have 3 minutes. So I can't touch base on everything, but I will say that to this day, I'm still having issues with neighbors smoking marijuana. I am still having issues with smells of sewage. We have septic tanks there. We do not have curb and gutters. We shouldn't be smelling that. Something's going on. I do want somebody to look at that, to be smelling that every night. We can't even be outside. It's just horrendous to smell human waste. Human waste, to constantly be smelling it. Also, there's a lot of people running stops on Copper Canyon. You can be driving up to the stop or to make a turn. People are running stops, just running it. I think it's because they recognize vehicles that live in that area. Not sure, but it's also happening on Forest Shady Forest, and Skila is probably the worst one. They just cross in the mornings, just cross at 6 a.m. They're just running right across that stop. They don't stop when they cross. It's not Priest. It's
Mathis.
not Matt. It's the
Waterwood?
Waterwood. Sorry. When you're heading towards the highway, it's dangerous in the mornings. Kids are out there already really early. And we have a problem with that. Also, I probably have a minute left, but I did want to ask, or just put it out there. There needs to be some bus stops for the kids. It's raining. It's, I know we can't put an actual house, maybe some roof or designate some area where they can be under. A lot of the cars park there and they block the stops. So we've got cars blocking stops and then buses have to get through and then other cars have to get through to go to work. Which is normal. We live out here. It's been like that, but it is getting a little more populated and more people are going to work and coming home and drop offs. So it kind of gets cramped. Cause they're parking on the sides and the corners and taking up that area. So, or maybe we can put something for them to, I know they're out there because it's raining, it's cold. And a little shelter might be a little bit something to think about for that, but, those were my concerns.
So just to sum it up, there's a smell of sewage, marijuana, passage of stop signs, and then, like a carport for some bus stops. Okay,
Even if they don't wanna use it, I know parents sit in their cars and stuff, but at least something for the ones that do walk. There are a lot of them that.
somewhere to provide protection.
Mhm.
Okay. All right, thank you, Vada. I appreciate you speaking up. Okay, moving on to the next part, mayor and administrator announcements. At this time, there's some announcements that are gonna hit our city very, very tremendously. To begin, we do have the passing of my right-hand man, quite literally Tom Rapino. He passed away a few days ago over the weekend. Another pivotal person to the community was our Public Works Director, Priscilla Smith, lost her husband a few weeks ago. And also one of our big contributors to our community center, she lost her stepson. As of recently, he was a young man, only 19 years old. And so what I want to do is just take a brief moment as a moment of silence to pay some respects to them. Specifically for Mr. Rapino, we will send out some information. We'll try to publicize his the wake and so on and so forth. So be on the lookout for that. But let's just take a few seconds to reflect on not only the folks that I've mentioned, but I'm pretty sure everybody's had somebody pass recently that is now no longer here. And as we're coming to the holidays, think about the people that are affected. Thank you, everyone, for your moment of silence. Okay. So what we're going to do is we have a special guest in the house. We're going to a bit of rearrangement on our agenda today. What we're going to do is jump to agenda item 12B, discuss and or possible action on promotion of police officer Cecilia Palomares. So at this point, I'll open it up to the council. Rick, if you want to provide some words as to why you believe our officer should be promoted. Sure,
Can you borrow the podium?
of course.
Take this over this way.
No, just.
Mayor, member. Normally had a speech written down, I'm a little more nervous than reading. Because in the heart. Palomares has started with us. We started together, she was sworn in on the same day. And since then, she has gone above and beyond the expectations of any officer who's starting out their career in law enforcement. She has dedicated time, countless efforts and hours away from family, friends, and even holidays. She has shown what it takes to become a leader in our community, to be able to start and finish a case from beginning to end. She has single-handedly on her own, along with myself, assisted us in getting our evidence room to where it is today, which is where all the accountability where we needed to be and get us into code and standard. Above that, she's a tremendous friend, a loyal member to our city. I can't say anything bad. She is hard-headed, 100%. But other than that, I think we are lucky, we're blessed to have her here. I see that she has a tremendous future with this department, potentially being the next chief if she continues striving as I believe that she's going to in her career. I highly recommend that she be recognized as she well deserves this promotion, along with the reflection that it has here, not only from Live Oak County, China Grove, Duval County, and the city of Benavides has traveled to support us in this great opportunity for her as an officer. And we hope that we take this recommendation solely to heart.
Thank you, Cliff. Is there any further discussion? We could take a motion.
I move that we move on the motion for Officer Colomaris with the effective date, so we use as the effective date today.
Yep.
Effective date of 11 December.
A second.
What's the time?
Sergeant. All right, so I have a motion by Alderman Tremblay and a second by Alderwoman CJ to promote Officer Palomares to the position of Sergeant effective December 11th. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? That motion carries. Officer Palomares, congratulations. Can you see? Okay. Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Rick, can you shift a little bit so the camera can
Oh,
capture it?
sorry.
Yeah, that's great.
Jacket's too smooth. I present Sergeant Cecilia Palomares. Cecilia. We had a special guest that could not make it in today. He was able to stop by after a special operation. He left me something to present to you. So, a quick history that not only was Sergeant Palomares the first female city employee, city officer for the city of San Diego Police Department. She's also the first Native American to proudly serve in this capacity. And under our office, under the Miwok people. Ranger Pettis could not be here to present this to you directly. This certificate is for your file. This is for your family home. And as you know, that every officer that promotes and does things in their career, they're required to have certain equipment. We now present you with your future equipment that you will need. And you shall open it and share it publicly.
Should show the camera.
Great.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm gonna make City of San Diego proud.
Officer Palomares, I will say, I do remember when you walked in a little over a year ago. And I had to turn you away because we were undergoing big changes at San Diego. But I appreciate your persistence and it paid off. And it's going to continue to pay off. And with that persistence, you're going to do greater things than we can all imagine. Please keep it up. Thank you. Okay. All right, so let's move back to the top of the agenda. Let's start with the consent agenda. All matters listed under the consent agenda are considered routine by the City Council of the City of Sandy Oaks and will be enacted by one motion. There will not be a separate discussion of these items. If discussion is desired, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately. This time, please take a moment to review the items in your consent agenda.
Mayor, I'd like to remove item 5C from the consent agenda, please.
Okay, we can talk about that separately.
Thank you.
Is there further discussion on A or B?
I have nothing on those two. Thank you. And thank you for the updated files today.
Yes, ma'am.
Move to approve consent items A and B.
All right, I got a motion by Alderman Tremblay. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
And a second from Mayor Pro Tem to approve agenda items, consent agenda items A and B. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, that motion carries. Ma'am, you have the floor to discuss agenda item C.
I believe I saw the city attorney in the video when you turned it around. Did she show up for the meeting, sir? Is that correct?
That is correct. She is not present.
All right, so because this is pretty much something she needs to just confirm. In looking at this invoice on the top of the second page, the second item entered with the date of October 6, 2026. One, I think that should be 2025. And then two, it states that you are billing us for preparing a draft letter from property owners to city. I'm assuming that that should be the other way around, but I wanted to confirm that since we're paying for something, I'm hoping you're preparing something that the city is sending to the property owners.
Well, you're right on the date. It is 25 on the draft letter from the property owners to the city. No, that is a draft letter on behalf of the property owners, since the property owners need to submit the petition to the city to be included in the ETJ. We prepared a draft letter for them, which I don't believe they've filed yet.
Okay, so the city is paying for you to prepare a letter for them.
Correct.
Under my direction, right? So we're trying to help the process move along.
Okay, and so I'm assuming that's the same for the item above that as well, for the 10 October
Yes, it's the same item.
item.
Correct.
And so we've prepared this letter 2 months ago and they still haven't done anything with it?
Well, this is where we kind of went to a standstill when we were talking about the signs. Right? So we're trying to help them submit their part. They've done their part with the city of San Antonio, requesting to be released from their ETJ. Then we started to discuss the signage, and then that's where it's kind of gone still.
All right, I would just be a little concerned about spending money on them if they're not taking steps to move forward with making this happen.
Their biggest step has been done, right? It's now it's our part.
Understood, sir. And since they've done that, they've come asking us to spend money on them, and now we're spending money for this. There's more that they need to do if they want this to happen, and this is going to benefit them as much as it benefits us with the tax income. But we're supporting them whether we annex them or not. Our police force is going to have to support that area when they call 911 and things like that. So I just want to make it known that I am concerned that they've done that. They've asked for us to buy them signs, and now they're asking, or we have decided to pay our attorney to start drafting letters. At what point do we stop and wait for them to start taking additional actions? I'm just elevating that as a concern at this point, sir.
Sure. Understood.
That was my only question on that. I don't know if any of the other council members have any issues or concerns.
No, with that said, move to approve item C on the consent agenda.
Second.
Okay, I got a motion from Alderman Tremblay and a second from Alderwoman CJ to approve consent agenda item 5C. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed. All right, moving right along to 6, financial report, income and expenses for November 2025 will be reported by the city secretary, Delma Doyle, with the possible discussion and or action. Ma'am, you do have the floor.
November 1st, the balance is $210,858.59. Checks and payments cleared was $107,711.27. Deposits and other credits that cleared are $130,203.08. And the statement ending balance as of November the 30th was $233,350.40. Actually, November 28th.
Mayor Pro Tem, I know you had some questions on a few items. Let me bring those up just so that way we can address them in public. Give me 1 second.
Yes, I did see that response. That did address all the questions. So if you want to cover those in here, that'd be great.
Yes.
But I have no other questions. I'm good with those answers you provided, sir.
Okay. Let's see here. So specifically to the financials, there was a question about a transaction for $6,318.78 on November 4th. That is to the Texas Municipal Retirement System. There was an additional question about 1110 for $1,542.30 to Wright Express, aka UT Fuel. That's mostly was the concern. 5,000 on 1117, 5,314.24 cents, payable to Commerce Bank, aka Frost Bank credit card. There was concern with a $1,931 transaction to Animal Crossing. Unfortunately, that was the euthanasia of multiple dogs that were involved in a bite case last month. There was a deposit of $1,078.51 which is the school cross guard fund. That's two payments. And then there was 1,383.03 to CPS. That item was returned. CPS has multiple payment IDs, and so we had to relay those to Frost, which is why the 1,383, which consists of two payments, was returned, but now it's been forced back in. So those were the questions that our Mayor Pro Tem had on the financials. I know I went through those kind of quickly. I can certainly forward that to y'all. But just let me know. And then as you can tell, there's no ARPA TDA, those accounts are closed.
If nobody else has any questions with that, then I would move that we accept the report as presented by our city secretary.
We have a motion to accept the financial report as presented. Do I have a second?
Second.
And a second by Alderman Tremblay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, that motion carries. At this time, Public Works is not in the office today. Do we have anything that maybe we need to send to them, or are there any questions that y'all may have that we can organize for our Public Works team?
Just one thing on the public works, that on the entrance, that pole, there used to be two poles there going out,
Mhm.
one there now, and it's clean. Can we get that cleaned up?
On here at Waterwood Pass,
Yes.
there's a pole. Yes, I will.
Yeah,
we'll address
it's
that.
been like that for some time. It's
Oh,
whatever they can do with that.
okay, does it hold the
Make it
electrical?
No, it's to keep when the commercial vehicles come out from the rear of
The bollard. It's a
Yeah,
bollard. I got you.
they're, yeah, they
Gotcha.
can do something kind of just straighten that up so it looks a little
More
better.
presentable. Gotcha. Okay, I will talk to the Public Works team to address it. Okay. Moving right along, animal control updates, announcements, and presentation of monthly report from ACO Cunningham with possible discussion and interaction. Ma'am, please, you do have the floor for any updates and announcements. You know,
Give y'all okay.
correct.
So we did start with Miss Nomi Ramirez. She is the shelter technician, and she's doing well. She still has some things to learn. There's a couple of a few questions that she's got that we're working on. But she's doing very well, and she's been on time, and overall has not been late since she started. I think it's been about 3 weeks now, so that's very good if she keeps on that path. Let's see what else. We're still full. Our transport in November did get canceled. And the one for this month, they never set it up. So now the 4 dogs that we had going to Canada, they won't be leaving until January. But they're small dogs. We can move them around if we need to.
Is that is it still a possibility in January, considering how much snowfall could happen?
They told me January they're leaving.
Okay,
So, as a hope, I'm not sure if they're gonna end up keeping them here, like boarding, or if they'll transport them to boarding. And then all 6 of our other dogs that were here that we were waiting for Austin Pets Alive to take, we actually made another connection with someone through Home Run Hounds. They're another group that takes them up north, and they should be leaving on the 22nd or 23rd of this month. She took a lot of our other dogs that we had, and then we brought more dogs in, and now she's taking these. So she's been a very good contact, and I hope to keep her as a transfer network. Other than that, we did have a pig come in. And I would like to announce to the citizens, pigs are not allowed in the city. They never have been. I keep getting questions of why are you telling me now that I have to get rid of my pig? Pigs have not been allowed. So that's something that they continuously ask me. Well, why now do I have to get rid of my pig? So we've had to kind of get on the ball with that. As roosters as well. There's been a lot of roosters that we've been trying to figure out where they're calling from, but they're usually in a coop, so they're harder to track down. Other than that, I don't think I have anything new. Most of the missing dogs have been found, and a lot of since we implemented the $500 failure to reclaim, it has been working, and we've had several people come and pick up their dogs, which is wonderful because most of these dogs have been owned, which is why we haven't had a great amount of dogs coming in. So that
How many do you have currently?
right now we've got 10. So, and 4 of them are going to Canada, and then 6 of them are going to Home Run House.
How many are you keeping on the outside?
We have 3 on the outside. We did cover the euthanasia kennel. There's 3 separate kennels there, and we took a piece, it's like a piece of like real heavy duty canvas, and me and Cassandra went out there and we cut it off of the 10 by 10 and put it over here. So now the 10 by 10 and the euthanasia kennels have coverage on both sides.
Block the wind.
Yeah, blocking the wind. So that's very, it worked out perfectly. I didn't think it was going to be long enough, but it worked out perfect.
So Ashley, I had a quick question for you as well.
Yeah.
The mayor previously mentioned that we paid Animal Crossing just over $1,900 for euthanasia. However, you don't have any number of animals listed under dogs euthanized. How many have we euthanized during the month of November?
It was 9.
Wow. 9 animals involved in a bite case. All right, thank you.
Yeah, it was the mauling that I told y'all about. That was the previous month. I did mention it that y'all would.
Yes, ma'am.
But yes, they all attacked the one person. It was.
Are we recovering any of that cost?
Are we citing them?
I didn't cite her because it was not.
It was-
really dogs. It was a very difficult case.
That's right. The owner was incarcerated.
Was incarcerated.
I don't think there's any way we can go about it.
Right, yeah.
I did have a question. So given Naomi's experience, right? She works in, I guess, roughly call it a slaughterhouse. Has she even mentioned like any improvements that we can make about the sterilization or, just utilizing what she knows and what she's seen, right? Have you asked her those type of questions?
She's fairly new to the dog aspect of it. So as far as that goes, she hasn't mentioned anything.
Okay, but just something to think about.
She's fairly, how do I say it?
I mean, she's
She
green,
doesn't have a lot of experience when it comes to dog facilities.
of course, of
So
course.
I'm trying to teach her all.
Okay. Any other questions for our animal control officer? Okay, then let's move along. At this time, we do not have our police chief. It is his birthday today, so I should have said that in our announcements. Happy birthday. However, we have his right-hand man. We have our Lieutenant Rick Alvarez in the house. So updates and announcements and presentation of monthly report from Chief Watt from Lieutenant Alvarez with possible discussion. So you do not have to go through the report, but if you have any updates to provide, you are more than welcome to.
So the month of November, no, sir.
I did have two questions.
Yep.
So one, I noticed that Officer Palomares and Officer Franco are still being reported together. How much longer until Officer Franco will be able to go out on his own?
He has been released, ma'am. He is currently on.
Oh, great. Okay. And then under the city ordinance violations, I noticed that there was one violation for pool in yard. Was that for having a pool in the front yard or for having a pool without the permit? Do you have any details on what exactly that pool in yard was for? Because it's not illegal to have a pool. I don't want citizens to think that, but there are certain requirements within our ordinance. And I was just wondering if you knew what that violation was specifically for.
I think Lieutenant Alvarez could get that for you.
All right. Yeah, it's not that important, but I don't want when our citizens to see this to think that a pool in the yard is a violation. It is not a violation to have a pool, but there are requirements to have one. So including that detail on there might prevent our citizens from assuming that they'll get a violation for having a pool.
Yeah, suggest just strike in yard and just have pool. It's a pool violation.
Yeah.
Maybe suggest that to the chief.
Great. Thank you, sir. That would definitely help. We can have pools in town, just there's rules for it.
Any other questions for our lieutenant? All right, then we will move right along to agenda item 10, update announcements from Park Advisory Committee with possible discussion and or action. Alderman Crickmer, you do have the floor.
One thing we did was we updated the members who were active and got their contact information amongst ourselves. We discussed the community center sign and what we're thinking of doing is using the same vendor that produced the sign in front of this where we are now, in the same type of materials and design for the community center on 2 poles. And that's what we thought was a good idea. And I need to get with you or whoever and find out the vendor, the cost, and speak to them about proceeding.
Okay.
I think if you get with our public works director, I think she's pretty involved in
Putting up that sign.
she can probably get in.
Okay. Good.
John, Alderman Crickmer, when is your next meeting?
Yeah, that's coming up here.
Okay.
That's at the end of this.
Gotcha.
The next thing we discussed was some temporary signs or directions to the park and the community center for events and special occasions, like the election signs that I have. And we decided, since there's an issue with them being stolen and whatnot, I have plenty of those signs, and they'll just be placed strategically when we need people to find their way to the park. I've got signs, I'll repaint them, and then they can remark them, and it costs, so to speak. If we ordered signs, they'll be about $10 a piece, roughly. How many signs we need, I'm not quite sure. Probably at least a dozen. Arrows going one way or another way, either way. Depending on where we place them.
Something that says like community center event, right, or
Yeah,
left.
like that.
Yep.
Then there was previous discussion, and it's still, nothing's been resolved. We're still thinking about how to refurbish that ramp to get into the community center because that wood is very worn and is somewhat slippery. Some of it is jumping and becoming a positive, possibly a trip hazard. So we're, as Mr. Pullinger was initiated this discussion and for doing it. He is no longer with us.
I mean, we do have the metal ramp for the other door, and we
Yes.
just do away with that wooden ramp. It's gonna be too costly to keep refurbishing it. Why don't we just put some stairs, some steps going up with a small deck rather than, and maybe just the top part of it could be saved and just put some stairs. I think we should just do away with that ramp altogether.
Because the metal ramp is compliant, right? It is
Mhm.
ADA compliant.
yeah.
And the door was refurbished because it wasn't opening properly. So I mean, it wouldn't necessarily be a bad idea to chop it off and just have those as regular steps
And again, when Priscilla gets back, that may be something that Public Works can handle.
easily.
We may have to redo the sidewalk to get up to the steps though, because the sidewalk currently goes to the end of the ramp.
Yeah.
Right, yep. Yep. I was hoping it was underneath, but you're probably right, that it's not.
So- Should I discuss that with Priscilla? Should I discuss it with the park committee and say that's what we think we should
Well,
do?
run it by your committee first and see if they're on board with it, and then I'll go ahead and speak with
I
Public
don't
Works.
think it would be real expensive to probably couple $100 to repaint the wood and put some sand in the mix for grip.
You'd have to check with Raylene, but I believe the paint is already there.
There is some, I've seen it. I don't know if it's a sufficient quantity or if it's,
I think those were new cans that were
there's
bought
2
for that
gallons, which
purpose.
won't cover much.
But it would need to be sanded still.
Pardon?
The wood would still need to be sanded.
Yeah, it needs to be prepared and sealed, and
Yeah.
that's kind of an involved situation.
I
Okay,
would propose that you take these two ideas to the committee and see what they think, and then discuss it with Priscilla, which option for moving forward.
okay, no problem. The other thing was the angel tree was discussed. And Thursday, starting at 5:30 PM. And on Sunday afternoons between 2 to 4 PM, it's available for people who have signed up, which is already closed, to pick their present from the tree. That is Thursday, 5:30 PM, Sunday afternoons between 2 to 4.
This is to pick their angel, right?
Right,
And Sunday was 2 to 4?
right.
Okay.
And, people that are supposedly having, I think this is for the ones providing gifts, need to return them to the community center by the 18th or the 19th. Those that are providing gifts,
Next Thursday or Friday.
18th or 19th, I don't know which day it was. And then the last item is, the next meeting is Tuesday, January 6th at 5 PM. At the community center for the park. And last item is to adjourn.
John, two things I want to bring up for the community center. One, I attended an event for Via Link this past week, and I asked them to do something similar because Via Link, the drop-off point is in the park. And so Via Link is a program that Via offers for $1.30, we'll pick you up at the park and take you to the City Base South area.
Right.
And then for $1.30, they'll bring you back Monday through Friday, 7 to 7. So we're gonna want to have an event here. So just something to talk about, right? Just bring it up. And then and we can talk some more offline about that because I'm pretty excited about it. But the second thing I want to talk about, and again, all things considered, kind of given light of the situation, I would like to rename the community center building to the Tom Rapino Community Center. So just something to think about, right?
Come on in.
He served in city council for 8 years, 8 of the 10 that we've been open. And he's been on the park advisory committee. Again, just something to mull over for the council to think about. We can always put it on the agenda, but because it's related to the community center, to the park committee, I figured y'all could have a conversation about it.
For sure.
So I would hold off on your sign till we get to that point.
Yes.
I would like to know what the park committee thinks of that proposal, sir, before we have a discussion on it
Yes,
at
I'll
the committee.
bring it up to him.
Yep.
For the next meeting.
Awesome. Thank you, sir. Just to recap again, I'm just kind of hit the highlights. The angel tree, you can pick your angel 5:30 on Thursday today, which is now past. Sunday from 2 to 4. The next meeting is January 6th at 5 PM at the community center. And then
What has already passed is people submitting an application to get an angel.
oh, I got you. So then start picking
The Thursday will be the following next week.
to turn in the gifts for your angels.
to start collect, yeah.
Yep.
To collect your angel starts Thursday.
Gotcha.
What's passed is people signing up to provide an angel.
Gotcha. I understand. Okay, yes,
In regards to the Via Link drop off and pickup,
yes, ma'am.
we gotta make sure the park is always unlocked at 7 a.m.
Yeah.
Cause that's been an issue.
I know that also may be a park and ride kind of thing, so we need to be sure that our police department is making regular passes through there. And
Of course. Today we've had 0 riders, so.
yeah,
But yes, if we can turn our
We'll get
members
to
to
that
ride,
point.
yeah, we'll certainly make it a point to where we're constantly checking them out. Okay, so then let's move on to the unfinished business, discussing our possible action on amending the personnel policy. Give me one moment to join the meeting. And I will share my screen. It is not printed in your handouts because it is a large document.
There'll be a couple of pages I want to go to point out the changes that we discussed at the last meeting, and then one change I would like to propose to the committee, and then I'd like to open it up for any comments they have on this final draft, sir.
Okay.
You let me know when you have it up and you're ready, sir.
Yep, I am fixing the share. 1 second. There we go. Um,
All right, sure. First thing I'd like to point out is on page 34. And I did just notice an error in what I put there. So on page 34 at the last meeting, we made the decision to insert the pay scales that the mayor had presented. But we'd also talked about adding the animal shelter technician. And unfortunately, I did not add that. And I'm noticing that now. Mayor, I hope you had an opportunity to review these as well and make sure I accurately captured what you had sent in the email.
Yep, yeah, we were talking, in fact, we were talking to the police department yesterday about the pay scales, and so, yeah, I've had a chance to spot check. We'll say.
Okay, and then the animal shelter technician, I know we're currently paying $15 an hour, but what was the pay range we were going to put in? Because I need to add that because that was a motion that was approved the last time.
There was a range that we motioned for the animal technician.
When we were talking about it, and then I think we did. If not, we can make a motion right now that I need to add it. This final draft does not have it. An animal shelter technician is a position that we added at the last meeting.
I think, I mean, if we did make a motion, I don't recall what it was. But I think
Okay,
similar to
But-
public works employee, I think it should be 15 to 25 or 15 to 20.
all right. So I would move to add to the second table in section 13F, animal shelter technician with a pay scale of $15 to $25.
You have a motion from our leader pro tem to add animal shelter technician with a pay scale of $15 to $25. Do I have a second?
I'll second
And seconded by Alderman Tremblay. All those in favor say aye.
that. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right.
Now, I just want to make sure the council has no issues with what we added based on the discussion last time this section was added. And if there's no discussion on this, the next item added was page 40, and this was the entire section 15 because that was an ordinance 2020-117. I believe we made the decision to add it. So I had to tweak a little bit to fit it in here, but we wanted to make sure the political activity information was in here. So I had to change the paragraph numbering and stuff, but this was added. So just want to make sure you're looking at it and make sure there's no issues with the way I've inserted it into this personnel policy.
There's a typo under B.
The typo under B.
Should be state and federal law. LAW.
Thank you.
I think federal law.
This is why we have to send it out because state and federal law. And there's also supposed to be a comma after law, Oxford comma in there. But just those are formatting typos. Okay, and if there's no issues with that, then the last thing I wanted to say, wanted to show, which is an additional change I want to propose. We didn't discuss it. It's on page 20. On page 20, paragraph 7D. So this is in the discipline section. So I'll give you guys a moment to look at what it currently says. And then I'm going to move to strike that paragraph and replace it with something else because what I see written right there is not the way we currently do it. So please let me know when you're ready for me to state what I would like to insert into that. And Mayor, what I'm going to read is in the email I sent to you if you want to use that for the motion.
The email you sent is
First time I sent it was November 28th. And then I sent it again this week. I'm not sure. I think it was Tuesday.
with the attachment, right? Yeah, I saw it. Okay.
Yeah. So are you guys ready for me to read the insert for my motion?
Yes.
All right. So I move to strike paragraph 7D and insert the city administrator or supervisor shall prepare a written report of any disciplinary action and shall date and sign it. The report shall then be provided to the employee who will be requested to sign a statement confirming receipt and review of the report. The employee may, if they wish, add written comments to explain the conduct in question. The report shall then be added to the employee's file. If it is the third written report within 12 months, or the disciplinary action includes a suspension with or without pay, parenthetically, the city council shall review a copy of the report at its next meeting.
To do what?
I'm sorry?
To do what? Review the fire or?
So elsewhere in this policy, it states that if you get 3 disciplinary actions within 12 months, then the city council can take action against that employee, can potentially fire the employee. So I think the way it's written now, where we have to look at every disciplinary report, is a bit extensive. I think we should only care when we have employees that are being told to stay home and when an employee has 3 reports within 12 months. Just so we're looking at it and we're tracking it and are aware of the behavior of employees. We don't have to do anything with it. We just go into executive session, discuss it, or we and we take action or not. But I just think we need to review it. If it falls into those categories, as opposed to what it currently says, which says that we'll review every disciplinary report.
All right, yeah, I believe it shouldn't come to the council unless it gets to that third incident. Because the administrator, serving as the HR individual, has authority or should be handling all the disciplinary issues.
Right. That's the main changes I'm making. I'm
So,
also adding the fact that it's the city administrator or the supervisor that can write up the written report. And we only see it in certain situations instead of seeing everyone.
Right. We should only see it if it gets to that third level.
I also think we should see it if the individual's being suspended. If it's bad enough that they're being told don't come work and we're still going to pay you, or don't come to work and we're not going to pay you, I think that should warrant our level of attention. We don't have to necessarily do anything with it, but I think we should be made aware of it.
But then
Hence-
Mayor Pro Tem, but then wouldn't it slow down the process of suspension in a sense of, which is not necessarily.
No. It's not saying it has to come to us for approval. It says we're coming to us for review.
Okay, so it'll be after the fact. We're
Yeah,
okay with
it
that.
says if it is the third written report within 12 months or the disciplinary action includes a suspension with or without pay, the city council shall review a copy of the report at the next meeting.
Oh,
Even if it's the third one within 12 months, we don't need to approve it before it happens. We just need to be made aware of it, because we don't have to wait to the third one. If we got someone that's been suspended twice for 2 weeks because of behavior with or without pay, and we think it's obnoxious enough, maybe we want to fire them after just the second time. This is assuming that the city administrator, the supervisor, is finding it necessary to suspend an individual.
Okay.
That means we should be able to assume that that is some egregious behavior, and we should be made aware of it because we are the ones that approved hiring that individual. Not any kind of approval, just review. This word specifically in there is review a copy.
But in that, it will be on the agenda. And it's there for public viewing. The employee has some right or expectation of privacy. I mean, we don't need to be publicizing personnel matters. That's what it shouldn't even come to the council unless it's removal. If we're going to a step if we're at that step where we're considering removal, then it should come to the council. But first, second, letters or issues should not go to the council. Shouldn't be published or put on an agenda. I mean, I understand everything will go into executive session, but it's still going to be put on the agenda, and then it's for public viewing. And employees have a right to some form of privacy.
Even if.
Yeah, but it is the city's money, the citizens, taxpayers' dollars that are paying the salary of that individual that's being suspended without pay. So why can't we? And we don't even have to say what it is. It's just like the items we've had on other agendas, even today. It's a standard statement the attorney gives us for on there. It doesn't give any details of why we're talking about that individual.
Public has a right to request all the information based on public of the Information Act, privacy information. They're entitled to view all of the records that the city has. I don't think it should be coming to the council unless we get to the point where it's a question of removal. That's my thought. So I don't see any problem with anything that you've read there, with the exception of the bringing it to the council.
You don't like the disciplinary action includes a suspension with or without pay.
Correct. That should be done just
Internally.
specifically with the city administrator supervisor, HR representative, however you want to word it. But it shouldn't need to come to council. We shouldn't have to be spending our time or coming to the meeting and having to deal with personnel issues unless it's removal.
So their supervisor or city administrator could put it on the agenda for discussion. If they deemed that whatever that issue was important enough.
But I see where David's coming on, because you.
I do see.
You do have,
it,
you have two.
But they
you
have
the-
that right to do that,
Right,
correct?
yes. Because you do have the four-eyed principle, right? Meaning you've got the supervisor and you've got the administrator to review the suspension to deem it necessary or not. So I see where he's coming from. But in the cases where it's the city secretary, it's the court clerk, it's the chief of police, that's only two eyes, right? That's only one person that controls those positions, right? In a sense. So I can.
And as a city council member, I would like to know when we have employees being suspended, especially if they're suspended with pay, because that impacts the support that the city is providing to the council, to the citizens. It impacts the fellow employees. And even if it's just once or twice and not that third time within 12 months, maybe it's the third time within 13 months. I think as a council, we need to know what's going on with that.
And I'll
And
just,
we've had it on the agenda before so many times last year where we had to talk about discipline of an employee in an executive session. It's been on there. This is not something that's been unheard of.
can we agree to again, using that example of a four-eyed principle, right? So, again, I'm the administrator and I'm going to suspend Delma. Just hear me out. Not really. Then nobody else is supervising me, right? And so then I can't just go suspend her without pay or with pay, right? That has to come to you, to the council. But if it's Priscilla suspending Mike, she has to bring it to the administrator. So now there's four eyes. So two people have oversight on it. And then, okay, we can both agree, right? And then at that point, it's over, right? And then again, right, it only affects those positions that are appointed, that only have one level in between them and the administrator. I don't know if that's another alternative that we would like to consider.
I have a question. Can an employee be terminated without going to the council? Can the supervisor or no?
They can
Every
recommend-
employee serves at the pleasure of the council. The city council is the only one that can make a determination to fire an employee or hire an employee.
Gotcha. Thank you.
So they can make a recommendation, but it still has to come to council.
So I'll ask the city attorney, do employees have a right to any type of privacy when it comes to their employment?
There are
Did-
certain parts of their file that are private by law or confidential by law. But a lot of it is public too, especially if something is coming and it's in a council packet that could potentially make it.
And that's what I'm getting at.
open
When it's in a
for
council,
everybody.
when it's in a council packet, then it's for everyone's eyes.
But there's certain disciplinary matters that would be considered confidential. We always have to ask the AG for permission to withhold it and make those arguments. And then the AG would make the determination, but it would definitely make the public more aware that there is something to ask for if they need to.
Let's move on.
So do we want to,
So if we get to the point where it comes to an issue where it's coming to the council for review, and it's going to executive session because it's a personnel matter, does it have to list the individual's name on the agenda when it's going to executive session, or can it just say deliberation to discuss employee matters?
It
Period.
can't be general like that. It has to list. what
It
the
has to be
person
specific.
is, unless it's one particular person, like the city secretary, there's one city secretary, like city administrator, there's one city administrator. Then you don't need a list that name specifically, but
just by
if
the
it's,
position.
if it's a police officer, then you do need to list their name because there are more than one police officer. Or can't say just public works employee, it would be to say the person's name.
All right, well, I think we need to move on. Well, one thing we need to do is personnel policy manual done. So I would, I'll move to approve, the, Mayor Pro Tem's, changes as she submitted.
I think she made the motion.
Yep.
Already,
She made the motion?
with the, when she, and then she
Okay.
stated.
No, I made a motion to to strike that paragraph D. No one has seconded, so that motion is just gonna die.
I'll second that motion. How about deleting the, that paragraph?
The documentation. Okay, so I got a motion by the Mayor Pro Tem and a second by Alderman Tremblay to strike section D, documentation, and to insert the city administrator or supervisor shall prepare a written report of any disciplinary action and shall date and sign it. The report shall then be provided to the employee who will be requested to sign a statement confirming receipt and review of the report. The employee may, if they wish, add written comments to explain the conduct in question. The report shall then be added to the employee's file. If it is the third written report within 12 months, or the disciplinary action includes a suspension with or without pay, the city council shall review a copy of the report at the next meeting. I remember that all from heart. Just kidding. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed. All right. Hey, the only question that I had on here is, because it's something that I was thinking about was, upon termination, I don't think we have anything that says yes or no if we pay out any unused PTO. I don't think it's a big issue, but my assumption, termination or resignation, right? I think we need to be clear.
I think they've earned it. Need to pay them. That means
On a termination,
They don't earn it necessarily. They automatically receive it at day one of the year. And if they quit on day two, do we want to pay them out for the whole 5 weeks or whatever they've earned is what we'd be opening our door up, what would be opening up to.
Or,
But if you look at the very last paragraph, the very last sentence in paragraph, at the top of page 25, the city will not pay for or reimburse the employee for any PTO that the employee does not take.
right? And so that's what I was kind of.
I think that would cover termination or resignation. They didn't take it before they were terminated or resigned. They're not getting paid for it under any circumstances if they don't take it.
However, I believe that's for carryover from calendar year to calendar year. So yes, I agree that I think that statement does cover it, but that specific section is for year to year.
And that's not what that paragraph is for. It's talking about earned PTO. That paragraph talks about how much you earn. That is the title of that paragraph, earned PTO.
It says may not be carried over the following calendar year, right? So it doesn't make reference to termination or resignation. So I get it. And that's what I'm kind of.
Right. It doesn't, but it's not only limited. It doesn't make that last sentence. Well, I would leave it to the city attorney.
Yeah.
Does that sentence apply to resignation and termination as that paragraph is written?
The way I heard you read it, it sounded like it did, but where?
So it's right.
It's right there, the very last sentence at the top paragraph there.
The city will not pay.
question.
Hang on, Alderman Kirkland.
I think it does. And then the city would interpret its own personnel policy. So that's how I interpret it, that it does talk about calendar year to year, but it just says unused PTO may not be carried over. I think that last sentence does cover either year to year or just anything that the
Generally.
employee does not take.
Okay. All right, then I'm good with it. I just needed clarification on it. Yes, sir.
So they cannot carry over unused PTO from year to year?
No.
Okay, and they get their PTO at the beginning of the year for the whole year?
Yes, sir.
So if they're over water, underwater, whatever you wanna call it, they've used more PTO when they leave than they're entitled to? Do they have to pay it back when they
They
leave?
should not have any over usage because it's all through ADP. It's digitally managed. So there should be no, we have a bank, right? We have a bank of hours and they can apply it as they need to. And when it gets to zero, it gets to zero.
That's what I'm saying is if it's there, can they can't use their PTO ahead of their term, their yearly?
If they take 5 weeks vacation and they leave in July.
Oh, is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know that
They
they're
have to
leaving.
Pay it back if they
Right,
use
but
more PTO
that's
than they're
what
on
the
the
question
clock
is.
for the year.
I mean, we've allowed it to go like that way. So I mean, I would say if they decided to quit in July and they're like, hey, I'm gonna take all my PTO because I'm going on a 1 month hiatus. And we've approved it. I mean, it is what it is, right? I mean, they've earned it. They certainly put forth the effort for it. We weren't at any point gonna terminate them or anything like that. So I mean,
Oh, I guess it's not possible what I'm thinking of, but I'm saying use more PTO than their days that they have on the job.
If they earn 5 weeks of PTO on January 1st, there is no way that they can use 6 weeks of PTO before December 31st.
correct.
They don't,
No, that's not what I'm saying.
they
I'm
can't,
saying
No.
if they got 5 weeks of PTO and they've used it and they're gone after 4 months, do they have to repay
No,
the? Why?
No, that's what they already said. There's no rules on that.
The state law.
no, that's a benefit. It's a benefit, right? Like it's how we.
The policy used to allow the employees to earn so many days or so many hours each month or something like that. And then the last one of the updates made since I moved here, but before I was on the council, changed it so that they received their entire annual allowance of PTO on the first day. So that was a change that a previous council approved. Day one of the new year, you get your whole annual allowance.
Okay.
And there's no restriction on like, what if you use it all, take the first 5 weeks of the year off and then come back to work and quit? There's nothing we can do.
Well, when you say it like that.
I mean, the supervisor does have to approve it.
Yeah,
So if
they
the supervisor
regularly-
approves it. Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions on the personnel policy?
Yeah, back to that other question I asked you previously, Mayor. Is there a resolution required to adopt this updated policy? And I think that's more for the city attorney.
Yeah.
Okay, so we do need to bring back the resolution to the next meeting to adopt that, correct?
Yeah.
All right. I'll incorporate these changes and get it to you, Mayor, so that we can add the resolution to the next council meeting
All right, then
and
we'll-
adopt it as with the amendments I just noted.
okay, then we'll send it to print shortly after. All right, moving along. Anything else? Sorry. All right, moving along, 11B, discuss our possible action on a contract for codification services. I have not made any actions on this, which will then lead into, really, it should be C then B. There's been no action or status on the resolutions and ordinances. So that's why.
Did you email out that spreadsheet yet, sir?
Did I what now?
Email the spreadsheet. The last meeting minutes stated that you were going to email out the spreadsheet that I provided you.
Probably not, but and my apologies on that. I will send it out today. So let me write that down. Send out spreadsheet. All right, I'll get that. All right, moving on to D then, discuss and possible action on members of the Animal Shelter Advisory Committee. Do we have any updates on that? And our animal.
We just need to know from animal control or from you, have either of you gotten a cost from the vet for what he's going to charge us for attending the meeting and doing the 3 times a year for the actual being at the meeting, an hourly rate or something, and then some sort of rate for inspecting our facility and writing up the report. And that's not related to the members of the committee, but we need to know what he's going to charge for us to approve him to be the member.
Okay. I have not received anything. Don't think animal control has either, but I can follow up with them. All right,
Yeah, I'd like to get our facility inspected as soon as possible. So if we can get that dollar amount and get you to verify whether or not we have that in the budget.
yeah, I don't
Or whether
foresee
we
there being a budgetary issue, right? I think there's enough between veterinarian dollars and facility that we can afford it.
Okay, do we want to just make the call that this is going to be the vet that we have on our animal shelter? He's going to be the member, and then I, as the alder person on this committee, can just work with animal control to get them to have the vet come out here, because again, we just need to confirm that he's the last person we want, because Ashley already has the individual from a volunteer organization.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think that's perfectly fine if y'all can move forward on that.
All right, do we need a motion to say that this vet is the, because I don't even know his name, is going to be the vet that we're going to use on the animal shelter advisory committee?
Dr. Doyle, do we need a motion?
She's a member.
Yeah,
Yes, we need a motion.
yes.
All right, then I move that Dr. Doyle be the vet that is part of our animal shelter advisory committee.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Madero and a second by Alderwoman CJ to add Dr. Laramie Doyle as our board, as our member to the Animal Shelter Advisory Committee as a licensed veterinarian. All those in favor say aye.
All right.
Aye.
All right.
All those opposed? All right.
All right, sir, then I believe we no longer need this on there. I will move forward working with our animal control officers to get this animal shelter advisory committee moving forward.
Okay. All right, then moving on to agenda item 11E, discuss under possible action on providing tablets, laptop computers to all council members. Alderman Tremblay, I know this is your item, however, I will speak to it just briefly. Me and Jerry did look at some items. We looked at iPads initially because we have iPhones currently. Those are $600 to $700 a piece. I think that's a cost that's probably not necessary. In reviewing, we were able to find some really basic tablets with keyboards that were not like hidden agenda items that didn't still. They approximately about $200 is the initial upfront cost per tablet, and about $5 to $10 per month for monitoring service. So, you know, as an example, you lose it, you misplace it, it could be remotely locked, it could be wiped, things like that. So,
Does that cost per tablet?
$5 a month, $5 to $10 per month, yes, per tablet.
Per tablet, okay.
So about $50 a month, what you would high range estimate, and then initial investment of $200 per tablet. So that's about $1,000.
So he's reviewed the one that you have in our
He
panel.
has not reviewed that one because again, we thought that other one was one, and he was like, okay, that looks fine. Like again, just looking at reviews and stuff like that, never mentioned that it's just a keyboard. But again, his initial thought was an iPad. However, I said that's just way too much money. For it
So can we
to,
get him to look at the
yes.
one you have in the tablet, and if that works, can we go ahead and move forward to
Yes.
this one?
So I think, yeah, I did make a recommendation of one. Again, I think an NTE of $200 per tablet is perfectly fine. We will come under budget on that. But yeah, I've already sent it to him. The moment I sent it to you, I sent it to Jerry to take a look. So I'm just waiting for his response.
So can I move the, can I make a motion then to,
Can I ask a couple more questions?
Sure.
So I know that you were probably doing that on your personal computer at home when you were pulling up the quote and everything. I'm assuming that we won't have to pay taxes on it and it'll be shipped to City Hall. Is that correct? And then these tablets will be able to open and view absolutely everything that's sent to the typical things that are sent to us and review for the city council meeting, and we'll be able to access the network folder so we don't even have to actually have it emailed to us. Is that correct?
That is correct.
that's the intention.
Excel,
Correct.
Microsoft Word, spreadsheets, access to OneDrive, Outlook, and so on. Yep.
PDF.
All right, those are my only questions. Thank you.
Yep. No, I don't want 5 tablets shipped to my house. That was just an example.
And oh yeah, that would be the other question. You're going to get one tablet for each council member and then a spare, or what is the plan?
I mean, I don't really need one. I have my laptop, so it could just be 4 right? Well, no, there's 5 of us. You're right.
There's 5.
There's 5 of y'all. So
There's 5 council members.
5 council members, I don't need one, so it'll stay at 5.
Okay, so no spare. So if we do something or lose it, we're stuck without it and have to figure out how to make things work. We won't be printing out stuff anymore once we get this, correct?
Right, yep.
All right, thank you.
All right, so I would make a motion that we move to approve a cost not to exceed we say $200 to $1,000 with the approval of our IT Jerry on his recommendation, that we move forward with this. And hopefully get something going next month.
A second.
Is this motion for the tablet that was in the email he sent out to us?
No,
No, it may be a different one. I'm just saying that it'll have to be what Jerry's recommendation is with the cost not to exceed $1,000 for the 5.
For all 5? Okay, thank you.
all right, so I got a motion by Alderman Tremblay and a second by Alderwoman CJ to talk to Jerry and make sure he approves of the of any tablet that we purchase with an NTE of not to exceed $1,000. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed. All right. I will get with him and verify that. All right. All right, moving along to agenda item 12A, discussion of possible action on updating the Parks Advisory Committee Chair.
I would move that we appoint John Crickmer as the Parks Advisory Committee Chair, if he's willing to accept that nomination.
I am.
He is.
Second.
And a second by Alderwoman CJ. So we have a motion by the Mayor Pro Tem and a second by Alderwoman CJ to appoint John Crickmer to the Parks Advisory Committee Chair position. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, that motion carries. All right, moving on to agenda item 12C, discuss and or possible action on RFP for towing services. Let's see, let me get to that here. So we do have.
We on 3?
Yes, sir.
So
Yes.
there's no way we can move forward with this as written. Because where is that? This contract that you provided us, in paragraph 4, it states storage facility, City of Sandy Oaks will provide on the effective date of this contract and maintain during the entire term a secure area for the storage of impounded vehicles. Can we even talk about this? We don't have that. Nor do we have any plans to acquire that anytime soon. Just want to throw that out there, see if we save time or whether this is something we need to discuss, because that is the biggest of all my issues.
I'd like to discuss. We need base or some kind of pavement. We need a fence. We need lighting. We need security.
Wait. No, this item is not to talk about the impound lot. This item is to talk about this request. But the request for proposal says we're going to provide that. I mean, not the request for proposal. The contract that's provided to us today states that the moment we sign this, we're going to provide this storage facility. There are a lot of things we need for that storage facility, which we haven't even.
Yeah, a storage facility.
So hang on.
It's in,
So Mayor,
he's providing the storage facility.
okay, hang on. So Mayor Pro Tem, we do have the towing facility here on site. So I want to give them opportunity to kind of clarify that one. Let's just give them the opportunity to discuss that. So you've heard the question, right, regarding storage facilities. Obviously, we are not set up for that. So what is y'all's take?
So, months ago, authors approached me about potential contract with City Centers with the tow.
Can someone give that gentleman a microphone, please?
Just give him the mic. Just make sure it's on. It's on. David. You can just hold it, you're fine.
Okay. So a couple months
Can you
ago.
hear it?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
A couple months ago, Mr. Victor Alvarez approached me about a possible contract with the City of Sandy Oaks, with a towing company. I know I don't know if y'all know, I'm also a deputy, a fully sworn deputy, so I do this part-time. He's the director of K3 South. I'm his assistant. He approached me. I have a problem area down here with people violating the law, et cetera. I know there was mentioned before about the possible detention time with other record companies taking 30 minutes plus. We're trying to offer services regarding that. I know this is within the talk about possibly generating revenue for the city as well. So that contract that y'all have today is kind of like streamlined as far as the administration fees, et cetera, on that to generate some sort of extra revenue for the city upon building a yard at y'all's discretion. We do have a tow yard located in Northwest Texas. Gonna be completely up to y'all. I know it's gonna be what is it?
Yeah, that's quite a bit south.
I did a couple
An
hours.
hour and a half, hour and 20 minutes.
Every bit of it.
But we do offer, we do have some heavy heavy trucks. We do have a truck tractor. We do have some rollbacks, RGN trailer, Landau. We're capable of doing anything, everything involving major wrecks. To hazmat, I do have my hazmat technician license as well. So he's majority of the one in charge of the entire company of down here.
So if I could interrupt, this was initially brought to our attention, essentially with the stipulation that Sandy Oaks was going to provide a yard. And there would be some sort of revenue stream involved for that yard. And that would obviously generate some additional money for Sandy Oaks. So that's how this whole process began. Obviously, there was essentially some, from what I understand, some sort of discontent with current companies that were on the rotation, He's got a great working relationship with other officers. Obviously, he conversates quite a bit with other officers and have a great relationship with them. We obviously, being K3, we're on a pattern to we're quite large up in Amarillo, in excess of 8 satellite locations, along with approximately 40 units. Our resources, all those resources are available to us. Once again, Sandy Oaks was brought to the table with from what I understand, with the intention of correcting some possible issues with rotation, and also possibly providing some sort of additional revenue towards the city. Hence, if you look at the bid, that's why there are certain portions in that bid that do allow for some of that revenue to be able to go to Sandy Oaks.
So if you tow a vehicle, where are you taking it? Tow a vehicle tomorrow, where would you take it?
So that's what was us. I understand was Sandy Oaks going to provide that yard. Okay, now maybe cart before the horse. If I need to, in the interim, if we can't move fast enough, then we can search, we can look, we can find a yard up here, utilize it until actually Sandy Oaks wants to agree with building that yard.
The biggest issue is if you're towing a vehicle because we've got somebody with drugs.
Mhm.
And we're gonna seize the vehicle, we're taking the vehicle. That's the problem, the issue. An accident is not an issue because you're gonna count insurance and they're gonna tell you where to take the vehicle.
Right.
Whatever body shop they want it taken to. Our issue is the ones that we're seizing due to whatever criminal mischief.
Right.
Criminal.
Police hold investigation.
Exactly. So that's, at this point, we don't have anywhere to put those vehicles unless we put them in our backyard.
Right.
That would be the only thing we could do. And I don't know that if we can get away with that.
Other counties,
We could keep down to some of them.
or with other counties, for example, Tilden has their own, where they, actually park a lot of their units, their own little, for some of the more high profile cases, will actually they'll request to bring that vehicle to their particular impound yard, as opposed to bringing it to our.
I
I
believe
think
when we discussed this before, though, the chief had floated the idea of the yard at the park parking in the area at the park.
Correct, but it's, again, it's putting the cart before the horse.
Putting the
When we're
cart
talking
before
about
the
this
horse,
contract,
yeah.
we need to tackle that first.
We have
Or-
I agree.
cases where people don't have insurance,
Mhm.
have expired license, or, excuse me, no license, and the vehicle gets towed. And so it's only a matter of paying for the tow and the storage to get it back. It's not a big criminal offense to be.
Yeah, unless it's drugs, then it's easy. to
Right,
take the
right.
vehicle. If
It's not that
drugs,
case though. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Right.
So how do you do that?
I know, in those cases, you can actually bring it into the yard. If you do tow it and you can actually tow it into, let's say Sandy Oaks had a yard, right? Y'all purchased, everything for the yard. We put the TDLR number, we insure it and everything. The officer shop said we can actually tow it to that yard. That's what, if y'all read the contract, it will say, it will stipulate that.
That's what I'm asking. Before we have a yard, where's it going? And he's not gonna go the person's not gonna go to George West to get their $2
It was, and I mean,
impound, $2 impound.
right. So once again, like I said, this was initiated with the fact that under the pretense of Sandy Oaks was building a yard. Okay, let's negotiate, let's talk about it. As far as kind of a broad stroke with impounds, once that yard is in play, we dedicate particular areas within that yard. For example, I'll have a front line that's a ready line. I'll have a separate area that might be a police investigation area, essentially hands off, so on and so forth. We'll have a separated, dedicated heavy line where we got all the big truck stuff. And I mean, we've got even scenarios where it's a boneyard, where we're gonna be sitting on this one for a while. It's a double fatality. We need to put a police hold on it. So yard management, not a problem. It's just the yard at this point. Okay, and once again, that was the thing that we were at was, okay, Sandy Oaks is providing a yard. Let's move forward. We'll develop a contract that will allow Sandy Oaks to generate X amount of dollars to help with that yard or over a course of time, collect additional revenues for whatever y'all might need.
In the interest of time, I think we need to postpone this until we can remedy the situation as far as a storage facility. And
Do y'all have, okay, yeah, and I agree. So two questions. One, y'all have the ability to kind of generate what general cost of what it is to construct a yard, minimum number of acreage, things like
Yes, sir.
that. Okay.
So I know before all this, there was a kind of, there hasn't been communications. So that's why last time we approached this, obviously we're getting in the water because, we needed the RFP. So we couldn't speak about it. So, there was no communication since then.
Yeah.
Did put the bid in there, no communication. It was just kind of, was in the air. So more of this is more like a status hearing.
Yeah.
What do we need to do to move forward? Also, that's all we kind of want to know.
Of course.
So Mayor, I have multiple other questions with this RFP, and they just start with the issue about we don't have the facility. And it sounds like from what they're saying, their contract was drawn up based on the fact that we were going to have it, and we are months away from having that. And please also note that Johnny's Record Service also just posted in the chat that they're online. They're located in Bexar County, and they did turn in a proposal. So just want to make you aware of that comment out there. I'm not tracking anything from Johnny, but maybe you are the city attorney or city secretary is. But are we going to talk about any of the other issues with this? Are we going to bring this back after we resolve the storage facility question? Or
Yeah, so let's generate a list of questions and let's kick it over to K3, and then we'll take it from there, right? Now we're creating the dialogue. Let's get it in front of them. So I'll create a group email. I think you sent something most recently to update it. I'll tag our Mayor Pro Tem. She'll update it with her questions. Then we'll go back and forth, and we can amend as we need to, and then talk about it.
Yeah, Mayor, I'd like to sit down with you when I get back and show you all my concerns with this paperwork you gave us from them.
And then my only concern was the 45-minute notice if you're out of George West. Mathematically, how does that make sense? But we can talk about that. Okay. then we will circle back and then put something together for you.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you guys. Okay.
And then
Uh,
Johnny's Record Service, I don't know if you can address his comment. I don't know the name of the individual on the line, but someone posted that they're on the line and they did submit a proposal.
Yeah, I want to,
Don't see it.
no, it's not there. Johnny, I think if it's the same person that I'm thinking of, they emailed me something recently. Yes. And that was, the proposal came in Wednesday, so it was past our deadline. But we can.
Yeah, the deadline was in October. That is accurate.
Yeah, so we can take a look at it. However, it is after the deadline, which is why it wasn't in this agenda packet.
Correct. From our city attorney, are we allowed to look at that and consider it since it's post our deadline, ma'am?
You can change the deadlines of the RFP, but I would give everybody the same opportunity. I mean, stick with the RFP and just say it wasn't past the deadline, or you can amend the RFP to change the deadline, but everyone needs to be given the same opportunity.
When we amend it, do we have to repost it, like put it in, wasn't kind of news,
I would repost.
right? Okay. I mean, I don't have a problem doing that because we've got to come to the table, so. But
I'm mistaken, the deadline was November 5th.
Do we need a motion to repost it if that's what you'd like to do, sir?
I don't think but I guess we could, yeah, because it's just discussing possible action on RFP for towing, so.
Yeah, if you're changing the deadline, reposting, requesting new applications, yes, a motion.
What is the timeline for reposting it? Ma'am, how long would that take? Just so we can take that in consideration when we decide what the new deadline should be.
Well, the RFP is already drafted up. It's just a notice in the newspaper, which would go tomorrow, or it can go tomorrow. If you want it published
give
by
her-
Wednesday.
Let's give more time, so let's do it next week. To-
Okay.
To be posted the following week.
And then I don't know how much time was given this last time.
I think it was 3 weeks.
We could just do it to the end of the month, end of January.
Y'all
Yeah,
just
but with
says
the holiday,
2
it's
weeks.
gonna be,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, because it'll post in late December,
Yeah.
and then they'll have the month of January, so.
Right. I would just like to get whatever RFPs so that we can discuss them at the second meeting in January would be my only ask, that we ensure the closeout of the RFP would allow us to get all of the RFPs in time to review for that, including the one that Johnny's Record Service has already submitted.
Okay. So then.
So I don't know what that timeline would look like, but I think we get the discussion of the storage lot on the next agenda with the the response to the RFPs on the second agenda in January.
Okay, so storage lot on the next agenda. All right, so do you want to make a motion to extend the RFP until January 31st?
Right, but what timeline do we need in order to make sure that you're able to provide us all these I don't know what happens from the time the secretary receives the responses to the time that you can send them out to us to review. So what kind of timeline would we need in order to make sure we have it in time to have a week or so to review before the meeting?
If you send it to the newspaper the 19th, it'll get published the 24th. And giving them 2 weeks, they would respond by the 7th. But then council has a meeting the 8th.
But
Right, but I'm not talking about getting the 8th. I'm talking about if we were going to discuss it at the meeting on the 22nd, how soon would the mayor need? What actions are required from the time someone submits an RFP to the mayor or city secretary to the time the mayor sends them to us? How much time is needed between that?
I think they got 2 weeks before, is what Donna said. 2 weeks before to respond.
Yeah, so, okay, I would move that we repost the request for proposal for towing and storage services with a suspense of 9 January 2026.
Or we don't, and we just work with what we have that was received within the time frame.
That's my motion. If someone wants to second it, sir. If not, then that's what we will do.
I'll second the Mayor Pro Tem's motion.
Alderman Tremblay, all right.
Is that a 2-week response?
What was the? Sorry.
I move to repost the RFP for towing and storage services with a closeout with a response date of the 9 January
All right,
Second.
I already have a second. I have a motion by the Mayor Pro Tem and a second by Alderman Tremblay to repost the towed and storage RFP with the response date of January 9th, 2026. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yes, sir.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right.
Aye.
All those opposed. All right, moving along. Agenda item D, discussion on possible action on cost of living increase for all city employees. So in D, I provided the cost of living adjustment for Social Security recipients, not exactly paid employees, but if they can make it work.
Well, sir, I would move to give every employee in the city a cost of living increase of 2.8% effective the first pay period that begins in January.
Second.
All right, I got a motion by our Mayor Pro Tem and a second by Alderwoman CJ to provide a cost of living adjustment of 2.8% effective the first pay period of January. All those in
The
favor,
first pay period that starts in January.
the first pay period that starts in January. Okay. All those in favor say aye.
All right.
Aye.
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 All those opposed, that motion carries. All right. We're getting there. We're getting there. Discussing our possible action on a resolution 2025-238, voting for a director to serve on the board appraisal district's board of directors. So this is 12E. I recently had one person reach out to me that was concerned about our vote. She sent us a bit of a bio about herself. Nobody else sent out anything. I didn't solicit or anything like that. She reached out directly. So I don't know anything about anybody else. But I figured if she is so willing to reach out to 5,000 population Sandy Oaks, then I think she should deserve our vote. But
I did take a look and see what I could find on the folks, because if I'm going to vote, I'm not going to vote it just for someone just because they're the only ones that come to us. I think I need to know a little bit more. I don't know if anybody else has done that.
what did you discover?
This is not her first time running for this position. She's not the individual that's currently serving. The first individual on the list, the Dr. Ralph E. Barksdale, is the one that's currently on the board of directors. He's actually a reverend. I do have at least one page of information I found on the internet for each one. The first one is Reverend Dr. Ralph E. Barksdale. He's founded a few different organizations. The second one is on the city council in the town that nominated her, the city of Alamos Park. The next one is city council, San Antonio City Council District 8 is where that individual is currently serving. The next person is actually on the Alamos College's board. So he's been on the board for about a year now. And he was nominated not only by Alamo College, but also by Northside ISD, because that's where he was prior to May of 2024. Lee Martinez, he was nominated by Harlandale. He is on a member of the districts. He represents District 7 on the Harlandale Independent School District. I'm assuming that's part of the reason why he was nominated. The next person, superintendent for the Southside ISD, Roland Ramirez. That's probably why the Southside nominated him. So he is the superintendent for Southside right now. And then Becky Ruiz is Vice President, District 6 of Herondale Independent School District. And there's a page with a little bit of information on each of those websites where those individuals are currently serving. But that's just basically a little bit of what those folks are doing now.
I think we should be supporting the superintendent of Southside ISD, being that we are actually within
In
Southside ISD. I've heard good things about him. My daughter and son-in-law have worked closely with him in supporting the band bring the band up. But he really is very good individual to work with, and he supports students very well. So I would put my support behind the superintendent of the Southside ISD.
Don't you think? he
No,
could-
I agree with that, but I also would ask, don't each council member get a vote? And then we put that on the sheet and then it goes forward and we're each can vote for separate folks if that's so.
Is that how it works? Or we nominate
I
one
think we get one vote
as the council?
as the council.
Mhm.
Yeah, so you want to vote for Southside? Okay, so let me write that down. The Tremblay is Roland Ramirez. All right, I guess we want to go around the room. Alderman CJ? Alderman CJ?
I would vote for Southside. Alderman Ramirez.
Alderman Crick?
Same.
Same. You're the end, you're CJ, you're JC. R. My only concern is he never called us.
We want someone who's
Um.
familiar with our area rather than someone who's familiar with the north side. You know, that's apples and oranges.
What about Monica?
Right. And he wasn't referenced as running previously, and he might not have known that that's the steps to do in order to get the votes from those that are voted on the candidates that are nominating.
I don't.
Whereas
Mayor Pro Tem.
Ms. Ruiz has run before, and maybe she learned from her first time that if she wants the vote, she needs to reach out, and she's
You
hoping
ran for
people will
your
give her
position.
votes.
When you ran for your position, there was no excuse like that. You knew to go out and knock on doors, yes or no? So, I mean, to say that he didn't know that is.
So, well, no, they ran in order to get the nominations. This individual got a nomination, so he sought the vote to get listed. So, yeah, I'm not sure, but I'm also not going to vote somebody just because they emailed you a piece of paper.
And nobody else did.
Yeah, but this is Northside and this is Harlandale, which I don't know where Harlandale is.
It's on.
And I would rather have someone that knows Southside, is involved in Southside. He's got 2 kids, school age in Southside. I think he's gonna better represent us from Southside.
All right.
Because our kids go to Southside school from town, correct? I don't have school age children, but I'm pretty sure we're all Southside down here, right?
Right.
All right. So we've got 4 for the position of Roland Ramirez. Do we need to go ahead and,
So the council gets one vote, right?
yeah,
All right, I would move to fill in the blank in resolution number 2025-238 with the name Roland Ramirez. And then pass resolution 2025-238 with his name inserted, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Sandy Oaks, Texas, voting for the director to serve on the Bear Appraisal District's Board of Directors.
motion by our Mayor Pro Tem. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
A second by Alderman Tremblay to insert in section 2, the city council hereby votes for Roland Ramirez to serve as director on the Bear Appraisal District Board of Directors. Therefore accepting, right, it was all in one motion, correct?
Yes.
Therefore, by accepting resolution number 2025-238, a resolution of the city council of the city of Sandy Oaks, Texas, voting for a director to serve on the Bear Appraisal District's Board of Directors. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, that motion carries. All right, moving right along to F and then G. At this time, F unfortunately does not need to happen anymore. We can still go to executive session to discuss, but it's no longer on the table from an administrative standpoint. Then we can go to G and discuss and or possible action on employment duties, discipline, or dismissal of Patrol Officer Mark Roche as of this Tuesday. As of yesterday, Wednesday, Officer Porsche resigned from his position as a patrol officer within Sandy Oaks. And that closes. Any questions, I guess, about that?
Was there a?
Are we going to start advertising? Or isn't that job all the way out there? Or can we not discuss it? It's got nothing to do with this topic.
It's nothing to do, but the position's always open on the website and we can renew it on the TML, so
Thank you. Now,
Yep.
and it's that Monday.
that is correct. All right, I just need one more motion then.
And move to adjourn.
All right, it is now 8:24. We are adjourned. Thank you, ma'am. We'll see you soon.
Yes, sir.